from the issues about preparation, these are things that we should begin to institutionalize excellence in the way that we do things, because excellence is key. And if, INEC as an institution, could ensure that, before, elections are conducted, they take their people through the processes of making sure that they are competent in every item in the entire processes of conducting the election and the procedures, and also in managing logistics, so that at the end of the day, the kind of results that, will come out will be uniform across the country, and it will be excellent. In my own thinking, that is the way to go, so I would not take anything that is less than excellence, at this point in time.
Did you expect anything different, considering that not much time was spent on training the ad hoc staff? As there are reports that they just spent about 2 or 3 days, and many of them hadn't even seen the card reader before today.
I've been in this country for many years. We've conducted elections every 4 years in this country, and you discover that the challenges are always almost the same. Oh, somebody didn't find his name. My wife couldn't even find her name in the first place. So if you look at it, they are recurring challenges. And if challenges are recurring and the institution involved does not take, a very, very critical or very, very deliberate decision in solving those challenges, specifically so that they don't reoccur again, then there's a problem. So in my own thinking, these challenges have been reoccurring in terms of lateness, bringing materials to the polling units and things. They can't even transport them as early as possible. Some of them will come in at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, when they're supposed to be there at about, say, 7 o'clock in the morning, if it's been reoccurring. My thinking is that, next time, the management of this system should take responsibility, total responsibility, to say, you know what, we will get it right this time. If by 2019, INEC as an institution, allow the things that have happened in this election repeat itself again, then it means that we're not really growing, as a nation. So I look at it as a leadership deficit, for me. That's just the way I look at it, across board. And I would like to commend the Nigerian police, for instance, because I know that in the units that I was around a few areas today, and I discovered that quite a lot of them were there on time, waiting for INEC officials to arrive. So in my own thinking, both the police, both INEC, and all the other institutions involved in electioneering must start very early to begin to integrate a process of excellence, in every element of implementation of the goals that they want to implement, to ensure that we have a very credible election. We are the giant of Africa in every ramification, so we must get things, right. And again, the second element I also want to talk about is the element of the political class, itself. And, that is why I'm very, very excited that the Nigerian people are beginning to speak very powerfully with their passions, and they are ready to vote in and vote out anybody they are not interested in anymore. So that should now begin to upgrade the quality of the human capital that can now begin to think about contesting elections in this country in the future. That will change, so that we'll have people who are not too desperate to actually get positions, but people who are willing deliberately to serve systems. And if you're willing to serve systems, you will not be so desperate to win elections, because if it is true service is not it's not by force. If you want to serve and the people say no, they don't want you, why should you try to cause confusion?
Okay,
that
Mr. Okorie,
is what you're talking about.
Okay, Mr. Okorie, we'll come back to you. Let's just get Jide to respond to this. He said something about preparedness for INEC and the excellent spirit.
Yeah, it's there are lots of ways to describe this. We could describe it in football terms. What INEC has done is they focus so much on the ball and they fail to take their eyes up to look at the post. And that's one way to describe it. Another way to describe it is to say that INEC focused so much on the gains of using the card that they took their eyes off the challenges of using the card. And what we mean, and trying to put this in clear context, especially for our viewers, is what INEC was intending to do today was virtually equal to getting every Nigerian that has an ATM card to use their ATM. And that's really the case. The most recent report by a group called Enhancing Financial Innovation and Access, EFINA, that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has strong interest in, recently did a survey last year, and they said the total number of Nigerians that have ATM cards, 19.8 million, approximately 20 million Nigerians own ATM cards. So picture getting all these Nigerians, 20 million of them, to use their ATMs the same day, something that all Nigerian banks will not be able to handle. Now, INEC intended to get approximately 56 million Nigerians with PVCs to come out today, and everything will go smoothly. For them to have executed that required some extraordinary level of planning, which INEC didn't clearly show that they had done.
All right, let's go over to get the comments of our correspondent Chimeze in Kaduna before we'll come back here in the studios. Well, Chimeze, anyone voting at this time?
Yes, good evening, Chamberlain. Yes, they are still voting up to now because in some places like in Banawa area of Kaduna South local government area, voting materials and INEC officials arrive very late as up to 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And because of the late arrival of materials and staff, when accreditation commenced very late, up to 5 p.m., people were still being accredited. So voting commenced in those areas as late as 6 p.m. So, of course, you know that INEC has extended the voting to tomorrow. So people are still eager to vote. There are so many people who are yet to vote, and so they are looking forward that by tomorrow they can still be allowed to vote. But by and large, there are some polling units within the same capital that have finished voting, results announced, and now, as I'm talking to you, they are at the coalition level, at the local government level, where votes are being collected. So far, so good. The voting has ended in some areas, while in some other areas, they are still voting up till now. But
all right,
hopefully, we are expecting that by tomorrow they will still complete the entire process.
And we'll be sure to get across to you to bring us the latest, whatever happens whenever we get to you. Thank you very much indeed, Chimeze, giving us updates on what's happening in Kaduna, where he is. We'll be back to continue with Nigeria 15 here today. Join us again.